guys, welcome back to another episode of your Besthetician podcast. Today, we are going to talk about taxes. We all kind of hate tax season, right?
Yeah, it's definitely, most business owners especially are not a big fan of tax season.
Yeah, it's not fun. And in the beginning, I feel like we were a little bit hesitant to bring on somebody for our bookkeeping and
general accounting
general
accounting.
CPA. And I am like more of a saver than Chris is.
Yeah.
In some ways, of course. But as far as the business goes, I've always been the one that wants to save more. And I'm like, I can do it myself. But truly having somebody to do your bookkeeping every single month so that when it comes to taxes is super, super important. So the sooner that you can invest in that is the best, in my opinion.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about what we did and why we did it. So yeah, that within the first 3 months of business, we set up QuickBooks, which there's a lot of different options for business owners, and QuickBooks is definitely the most popular to organize everything. The biggest thing that we did in the beginning, which I already knew, was opening up a business bank account. So make sure you do that first. If you haven't already, that'll make your life extremely much easier. So you can just separate all your purchases in the side. So in the beginning, of course, when there was no money, we were transferring from our personal into the business. And even then, I don't know how the taxes all exactly work, but it's kind of like an investment into the business. And our CPA helped us understand all that. But yeah, within 3 months, I told Victoria, I'm like, hey, I really think we should do this. And at the time we were making almost no money, right?
Yeah.
Barely staying alive. And we pay around $300 a month for a CPA. And I was like, hey, I think this is really important. We're going to make a lot of money. And the sooner we can start this, the better. And that was before we did our first full year and paid taxes and all that. But because we pay monthly for our accounting and our bookkeeping, so he organizes everything, splits it all up in QuickBooks, the correct way. And then when it comes to tax seasons, and I know that CPAs all charge a different amount, and you could think we pay a lot or don't think we pay a lot. I'm not sure. Every state is different too. And we love our tax guy. He's also a Christian, so we really trust him and trust what he does for our business and making the right decisions if he ever has advice for us. But when it comes to tax season, we pay less because he does all of our accounting, so he can do our taxes cheaper. For one, they can kind of prepare them in QuickBooks as well, so they're organizing correctly. There's no confusion. And I've heard a lot of people when it comes to tax season, they give their tax guy like, here's everything, and then it's like they get charged this huge amount just to file the taxes because they have to go through and figure out what is a write-off, what's not a write-off. Then they're constantly asking you, what's this purchase? What was this purchase 8 months ago? So that was one of the biggest reasons why we jumped in really quickly and got a CPA and had him start our accounting. So when it comes to tax season, one thing I did want to talk about is the way we do things compared maybe what's the right and the wrong way. There's some amazing estheticians that we see talk about putting away 20% every single month of their overall income for tax season, which I'd probably say is the right way to do it. And we don't do that yet. One of the biggest reasons is we just reinvest a lot of our money back in the business. So it's not like if money's sitting there, it just gets spent on fun things. Of course, we do like doing fun things as well. But most of our extra money, if it's not going to the bills, it's going to reinvesting back into Skin by You specifically.
And for us, we live off of Skin by You's income. So it's a little bit different for us just because of that reason. And so if you are somebody who, let's say that you're, we work together, so I'm not saying that Chris doesn't work. So if you have a husband or somebody, that your boyfriend, whatever it is, that you basically don't have to, you kind of live off of your income together, then I would say make sure that with your business, you set that aside. Again, we do things a little bit differently, and maybe it may be the wrong way, but it was like almost survival mode in the beginning because we lived off of just Skin by You's income. Yeah.
And the other big thing too that I want to mention is that I don't fully understand the different types of businesses you can file as, but last year we switched over to an S-Corp. Our tax guy recommended that. And I think you have to be doing above $55,000 a year, something along those lines. You can Google it for yourself. But if you are around that threshold, I highly recommend you switch over to an S-Corp. That's another amazing thing our tax guy was able to do. And he filed all that that for us as well. So we paid him like $100 and he went and switched us over to an S-Corp. In that first year, I think if we wouldn't have switched, we would have paid like $8,000 in taxes for last year. And we ended up paying, I think it was $3,000 or $4,000 last year in taxes. And we had some really good write-offs, and we'll see what this year is. We haven't filed yet. We're still waiting for a couple W-9s, I think they're called, when for business that we like doing partnerships and brand deals. That all goes through Skin by You. So we have to wait to get all of those first to then file to see what our tax bill is going to be. Victoria is already a little bit scared this year. But one thing I did want to mention about taxes, and I've been trying to change Victoria's mindset on this, and some really smart people have talked about it before, but they talk about the mindset of paying taxes, and we all think it's such a bad, negative thing, and we hate taxes here in the U.S. at least. And what I've started to kind of switch my mindset over to is the government that charges us all this money for taxes. As long as we have a free country and a solid government here that takes our taxes, they continue to operate in a way to make the economy excited and booming enough for us to start this business and have this business. And if it wasn't for all this taxes, and if it wasn't for maybe our overinflated government, we wouldn't have an opportunity to open a business like Skin by You.
And you can pay taxes quarterly.
And you can pay quarterly. We haven't done it yet. I'm waiting to see if our tax guy is going to recommend that next year. I don't know if it's after you make a certain amount and they recommend doing it that way, or if it's just personal preference. A lot of times people who do pay quarterly end up overpaying, so you end up getting that refund back again, which everybody works differently. That might work best for you. We can make an updated video once we file our taxes and just straight up say how much we're paying in taxes this year. So make sure you subscribe if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel and this podcast. Subscribe so we can wait a few more weeks, or we might wait until the March deadline to file our taxes, and we'll let you know what the overall was.
Truthfully, guys, I think tax season, I mean, it sucks regardless, but no matter what you're doing, whether you're paying it quarterly or you're paying once taxes come, that once a year, it's all about just being responsible. And again, we reinvest like everything back into our business. So we could be setting more aside than we already do, but it's just like, I mean, it just sucks paying that much at once as a business owner, but it's all about just being responsible with your finances, and you'll be okay. And it's also finding somebody that resonates with you, making sure that you find somebody that you trust. Then the way that we found our tax person, I don't know, what's the CPA?
An accountant or CPA,
is we got a referral. So we kind of we got really, really lucky with ours because he is so amazing, and he's just, I mean, he's affordable in our opinion, and he is so good at what he does, and he just cares. And so it's really cool to have, it's really important to find somebody that you trust, and maybe like a referral. And that's basically how I find everybody nowadays is finding somebody that I trust based on a referral that I trust, from somebody that I trust.
And we'll link him down below. The company name is Faithful Financials. They're out of North Carolina, I think. Kurt is the owner. He's amazing. Him and his wife run the business together, and I think they have a few employees now, but we'll link them down below. You're more than welcome to reach out to them and start accounting with them, or even have them help you with your taxes. They also do some consulting, and if you just want to ask some questions and figure out what the heck to do.
Business, if you're a smaller business, because remember when we first started, it wasn't always that expensive, or maybe we started making more money. That's why we.
Yeah, I think he was planning for how much we were going to make and not how much we made in the beginning. But yeah, depending on the size of your business, they charge accordingly as well. So if you're doing less income than we are, of course, you'll pay less. And this past year, I think we've done, I think we did, I don't know what we ended up setting at, $135,000 is what we did last year. So yeah, if you're only making $40,000 or $50,000, you're going to pay less because your books are not going to look like ours. They're not going to be so overwhelming with a ton of different charges and incomes coming in and out. We also do brand deals and things like that as well. So that's just, it creates more of a headache. So if your business is small and you're just focused on just the aesthetics and it's in and out of kind of, products and things like that, of course your business is a little bit easier to do. So yeah, you can reach out. He is, like I said, it's going to be a different price, most likely depending on the size of your business. If you're also doing better than us, you might end up paying more for accounting and taxes and things like that.
He has no idea we're making this video, by the way. So this isn't sponsored.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can go through and get check out their website and check out what they do. And like I said, they've been amazing for us and the information he's been able to give, and even just be able to call them up sometimes to go, hey, what the heck do we do here? Or, hey, this is a situation that's coming up. How should we manage this correctly?
Yeah.
And now even with, this is the first year we're filing taxes for Optimize Aesthetics, and we brought them on also to do Optimize Aesthetics books and taxes and accounting. And so, yeah, we definitely really trust them now with 2 businesses, and they've watched us from the beginning. And it just, almost as peers and friends to us too, they've always been cheering us on. So after the first year, they were really positive. Hey, great job this year. And then we finished our second year. They were like, wow, you guys increased. And they've just been such good friends and cheerleaders in business for us, which has just also been a cool thing, because it feels embarrassing sometimes because they know how much we make. And it's like, I hope they're not like looking at our accounting and judging us, right? Like, oh, that's a lot of dinners this year. Yeah. But they've just been so kind and sweet to us. So yeah, definitely check them out. But going back to kind of just the overall, just mindset on taxes, I think that's the biggest thing to kind of switch that opinion. And for us, paying a big chunk this year in taxes could go, wow, because of this country and because of the economy, we're able to build this and make this much money, and we get to pay taxes, not we have to pay taxes.
And I think this year we're going to actually like invest in some bigger things. So we will keep you guys updated like throughout our process. And one of our goals is to have more write-offs. So as we continue to invest, because I invested in the hydrofacial the first year of business. And so this year, I don't think we had any like major investments. So we'll keep you guys updated throughout the process as far as, what to look out for as we keep going in this journey. But that's basically all that we know right now. I personally have no idea. I just let them do their job because I don't want to have to deal with numbers and things getting really messy, especially with taxes. That is not something scary, that you want to mess with. Yeah. So
that's been pretty important from the beginning.
That's why I like ask Chris all the time. I mean, I've learned so much just owning my own business, and I understand, of course, like what you should be doing and the general gist and educated behind taxes and having an accountant. But yeah, it is super, super important. As somebody who is like in the beginning was like, no, that's $300 that we need. I get it, but make the investment. Like whatever journey or wherever you're at in your business, invest in an accountant is all I gotta say.
If you guys are interested, I'd love to, we're doing a lot of travel this year and hopefully going out to North Carolina. If you guys are interested, we'd love to interview him and ask them more and maybe get some deep dive on taxes. I mean, we could even do it over Zoom with him if we'd like, but I think that Victoria just spilled coffee all over. Hey, I have a white shirt on, relax over here. But yeah, let us know, because I think that would be a really fun interview to ask him questions that we're all intrigued about. So make sure you're following us on Instagram, because if we do that, we'll probably do like a little Q&A, ask questions for the tax guy, and hopefully have him on the podcast and do some deep diving on what maybe we've done wrong and what things we could do better moving forward.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool to do like a live audit with
our accounting. Oh, no, not for us. Maybe we got like a fake business. Yeah, because we want you guys to judge us either. Not that we've been eating out a lot lately. But we did a little too many business lunches. So I'm surprised he hasn't texted me yet. We're like, hey, did you guys hire on 8 people? Why is there so many business lunches lately? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. If you have any questions about anything we talked about, make sure you comment down below. We'll have the Patreon link below. This is the way we fund this podcast and the way we can keep putting out this information. We have a lot of travel planned this year and some exciting estheticians going to be interviewing. Make sure you go back into our Skincation playlist on YouTube. We have all the estheticians Victoria's interviewed so far and business owners. So make sure you go watch those. There's tons of great information. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.